Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nate Gustafson, and I am so glad to be with you today for today's hope message. You see, each and every week, it's my goal to bring you a word of hope so you may be hopeful and filled with hope as you go out there and bring hope to the hurting, wherever that might be, whether that's in your home, in your community, or beyond. Now, friends, you remember that old saying, actions speak louder than words, right? Right, of course. And I've also heard it say that people don't care how much you know until they see how much you care, or until they know how much you care. And so today I want to bring you a word of hope that your actions mean something in this world today, that your actions can speak volumes of hope to the hurting wherever you might go. You see, your life is speaking volumes when people aren't listening, but they're watching. Your life is speaking volumes when people aren't listening, but they're watching. They're watching your move. People are paying attention each and every day of our existence, whether you're true to your word, whether you're being your authentic self, whether you're out there doing what you say you're going to be doing. And it reminds me of the actions of Jesus. You see, the last few hope messages I've been sharing with you, words of Jesus from what's called his Sermon on the Mount, where he initiates a new way, a new reality of heaven coming to earth, that the poor in spirit, the mourning, the broken, those are the folks who really are going to be blessed, who really do have access to heaven on earth. And it's not about your hypocritic ways that you oftentimes see in religious circles. No, no, no. Jesus is all about the true, authentic, real deal. He says, do not go about being like the hypocrites who like to put on a big show, who literally walk around with a mask on to make themselves look out to be more righteous and holy than what they really are. But truly come to the Father, come to the Creator God with your whole heart, your whole being, and seek after him with everything that you've got. And last week I spoke to you about anchoring your hope, finding your hope in the one true path, in the narrow path. You see, the wide pathways of this world lead to destruction, but it's the narrow pathways that singularly focus on the way of Jesus that bring us life, that bring us hope. And so just as soon as Jesus finishes up this sermon, just as soon as Jesus finishes leading everyone in this new way, all eyes were on him. He just spoke of volumes and volumes and volumes of words, but all eyes were on him. Who was this man really? Was he going to be just another false prophet that was out to woo everyone with his words and then steal their money? Or is he going to be really someone that they can genuinely put their hope in, put their faith in, put their trust in? And how are they going to determine that? Well, they're going to watch him, because his actions are going to speak much more loudly than anything he just got done saying over 3 entire chapters of the Gospel of Matthew. And wouldn't you know, just as soon as he steps down from the mountain, he's immediately confronted by someone who's considered like the outcast of all outcasts, so diseased, so infectious. This was long before any CDC guidelines. So anyone with this terrible skin disease would have to go around and yell out, unclean, unclean, unclean. So everybody knew to scatter and get out of the way. Talk about social distancing. This was social fleeing. So people who were in this condition were oftentimes extremely vulnerable, extremely outcast, extremely isolated and afraid and alone. Afraid that they'll never get to have another friend, afraid that they'll never get to experience the warm embrace of a friend or a family member, afraid that they might just die at the hands of just decay and disease. And so all eyes are on Jesus. What's he going to do? This man comes and he falls at the feet of Jesus and he says, if you are willing, you can heal me. And in very few words, but in great, big, reverberating action, Jesus says, absolutely, it's done. And immediately this man was healed, cleansed, forgiven, set free from the bondage of not only his infectious skin disease, but of the isolation, of the heartache, of the fear that he was just going to die alone without another soul caring for him. Those are the actions of Jesus that bring hope. You see, there are a lot of fears in this world. Maybe you feel like you have your fair share of fear. Maybe you feel like this man, you feel like your past or your present circumstances are so infectious, so terrible. You feel so diseased, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, relational disease, whatever the case might be, but you feel so unclean, so unworthy of a hand out of hope that you don't think that Jesus would ever touch you. Friends, I have to share with you the rest of the story. I have to share with you that Jesus goes on in this chapter 8 of the Gospel of Matthew and touches so many more lives that would be considered unclean, unholy, too far gone for hope to reach to. And yet Jesus reaches out to each and every one of them. He goes to the spiritually diseased, those that are demonically depressed, those that are oppressed by just the spirit of evil upon them. Jesus goes to other outcasts, that people like a Roman guard who would typically be one who would be sharing in the oppression of people, but he instead is going to find freedom for the disease of his servant, the paralyzed servant. And he goes to Jesus. He says, I know that you are able to heal, and my servant is paralyzed. Will you help me? And Jesus says, I'll go help you, without even a second thought. And yet this man says, no, you don't understand. I know that you have power and authority as someone sent from God. It's evident. Your actions speak so much louder than your words. Your actions speak to the true reality that you are bringing heaven to earth. I know that just in a word, you can say the word and you'll be able to heal my servant. So Jesus says a word, and immediately the servant is healed. Jesus goes on from there and heals and cares for and cures so many hearts and diseases, and people who are afraid that they're going to die alone, people who are afraid that they're so far diseased that they're going to not be able to receive the hand of hope that Jesus is out to offer. Can you relate? Friends, can you relate? Do you feel like your past or your present circumstances make you too far gone, that you are too far away from the hand of hope of Jesus? Let me encourage you today. No one is too sick. No one is too far broken. No one is too far diseased or distressed or disturbed or demonized by their past that they can't receive a hand of hope from Jesus. Friend, let me encourage you. You are not a hopeless, helpless victim. You are a child of God. And if you feel like you are filled with fear, let me encourage you to muster up just a little faith and reach out and take that hand of hope from Jesus. You see, even those that were with Jesus on that mountainside, hearing all these wonderful words, hearing and seeing what Jesus had gone on to do, where he healed the man with the skin disease, he healed the paralyzed servant of the Roman guard. They got on a boat with Jesus after seeing him do all this, and all of a sudden they got caught up in the perfect storm. They got caught up in the most uncertain of uncertain times, where they thought that their lives were going to end. And in the commotion and the chaos, they're scattered and they're helpless, and they're hazarding around looking for Jesus. And where do they find him? He's underneath the deck getting a nap. He's exhausted. He's tired. He's sleeping through the whole storm. And they're afraid they're going to die. Their fear is just on like level 10 of fear. And they go to Jesus and they're just like, what are you doing? And Jesus looks at him and says, you have little faith. It just takes a little faith, friends. So he goes up, and in very few words, but in great big actions that speak volumes of who Jesus is, he calms the sea, calms the storm, silences the storm. Maybe that's you, friends. Maybe you're staring something in the face. Maybe you feel like you're staring death in the face and you're scared to death. Maybe you're staring at the storms of your past, of past failures, past abuses, past addictions, whatever the case might be. And maybe you feel like you're too far gone. You're too far afraid Your fear is overwhelming you, your past is overcoming you, and you feel like there's no hope at all. Well, friends, let your words be the words of these disciples as they're looking for Jesus. With just a little bit of faith, they cried out to Jesus, Lord, save us, we're perishing. And that's all it took for Jesus to rise up from the boat and say, you know what, gang, I've been with you through this storm all along. Why didn't you come to me earlier? My hand of hope is always available to you. You're not too broken. You're not too sick. You're not too diseased. You're not a hopeless cause. You're not the worthless, hopeless addict. You are a friend. You are a child of God. Of course, I will come and calm your storm. So, friend, whatever it is that you're facing today, I want to encourage you. If all you can do is just share these words that these friends of Jesus shared, Lord, help us. We're drowning. Save me. I'm drowning in a sea of uncertainty. I'm drowning in the storms of despair from my past, from my failings. If that's all you have in you to say, then say that with me. Lord, save me. I'm drowning in a sea of despair. And then I want you to reach out your hand, because the hand of hope is always with you. Jesus is there to give you his hand of hope. Friends, I pray that this will encourage you today. I pray that you'll reach out for a hand of hope wherever you might be, whatever you might be going through. Trust me, you are not too far gone for the hand of hope to help you today. If you found today's message encouraging, hope-filled, hopeful, something to hang on to in the midst of some really hard times, would you please share this message? Would you not only share it, but would you subscribe by hitting the subscribe button below to this YouTube channel? It's my promise to you that I will bring you words of hope and encouragement to anchor your hope in, to anchor your heart in, that you can find your hope and your heart and your healing by taking a hold of the hand of Jesus. That's all for now, friends. Take good care of yourselves. Be well. Subscribe, share this video, and I look forward to being with you again next week. Take care.